And before we go into today's session, I always like to explain to you what we've already done before. So for the first the first six training session, we called it the Module 1, which is the basic. And we're talking about how to take a loan application. And people say how to take a loan app. I call it doing a consultation, when you're talking to them and you build the loan application when they're not there. So we talked about how to do the more modern consultation. And if you notice that the terminology changed as time progressed. We were known as loan officers, and we became mortgage consultants, and now they've dubbed us mortgage loan originator. So it progresses, and the duty also changes also. And before I freaked guys out, I lost my glasses camping, and right now I'm wearing contacts, so I'm kind of like batting my eyes. I'm not flirting with you guys. It's just it's about to fall out, So if you kind of see me do this, that's why. I should get my glasses this week here. And we also cover the analyzing credit, income, and asset. And I'm going to, for industry-wise, I talk about a lot of acronyms. We call it CIA. So just get used to that. When you're talking to the processor, they're going to say, do you have the CIA? They're talking about the credit, income, and asset. And then we talk about IFWs, which are initial fee worksheet. You guys should know how to prepare that. That is essentially when somebody calls you and say, can you give me a quote? That is how you do that, and we use LoanShifter to help us get that complete the IFW. For those that are not, I know that it's only about 3 of you guys that have called me to validate and confirm that you are hooked up to Point Central. I believe there's at least 40 users on Point Central, but only about 3 of you guys are actually taking advantage of the templates available on Point Central. So those who are not, typing in a mandatory login, username, and password when you start at Point, you're not connected to Point Central. You need a login and password. So if you open up Calyx Point and you're using it, call me and I'll troubleshoot it for you guys. And I've been doing it for a lot of you guys, or at least three of those. Okay? Because if you don't have the Point Central, I mean, what's the point? It's really you're not taking advantage of it. We're maintaining it. You're paying the higher cost to do that. So call me about that. We also talked about creating and explaining DSP. That's another acronym, Disclosure Signing Packet. Again, all these terminology, get used to it because the processor, they use these all the time. And I kind of want to explain the difference between the processor and loan officer. Processor, they're quick, abrupt, straight to the point. That's how they stay efficient. They handle massive volume. Loan officer, not so much. We kind of like, we're salesy. We want to make sure that all our points are explained clearly to a client. So we tend to write longer email. Don't feel bad if they just say yes, no. That's just the way they work. Okay, they're just very efficient with the way they communicate. And then the GFE is good faith estimate, truth in lending, and we talked about all that in the DSP. Then we also talked about how do you submit a loan to central processing. And central processing, for those who don't already know, they have their own group email address, is central processing. And everything is at myequityzone.com for now. Eventually it will be at elitenorcal.com, the company. So until we get that transition, I have the system in place. Everything I'm showing you guys are systems that we use for years, and it works. And we're just infusing it on a more massive scale. And still, as of right now, the hold up is a little bit on just how careful I am with a lot of the potential lawsuit. When we did the training on the second session on credit, income, and asset, we used a live file in the credit report. And kind of asking a little forgiveness from you guys is that I took on this position on August 12th, and Robert told me to do a training on the 13th. I said, I'm not ready for this, so we threw together something and the following week. So we're going to probably do that again, but during the meantime, we blacked it out as much as we can. Jacob and I, we kind of figured a way where we can use the same footage and black it out and still use it for the sake of people missing that video. So that's why it's taking a lot longer. He's already edited, I think, like 5 of them already, but it's just waiting for me to approve it. And there's a lot of information that I don't want YouTube spreading out viral and somebody get their identity stolen and we're the source of it. So understand why that's the holdup on the training. But there is one. I have the link for 3. It's an hour and a half, roughly about each. So if you think about it, for me to make the notes, that's a whole 8-hour session for me to approve it. So I'm hoping to do one each night and then roll it out by early next week, if not sooner. Okay. And then last week we talked about conditional loan approval and all the different report that are associated. I spent a lot of time on the appraisal report just because that's required for every loan transaction. Purchase, refi, doesn't matter. And the other one are called, really depend upon the underwriter, but more or less by the seller. The seller and the buyer actually, when they're buying, if they want a home inspection and the type of loan, FHA if it's required or not. So we just kind of skimmed through those home inspection, pest inspection, and the roof cert. We went over the estimated HUD-1 settlement statement, but we spent a bulk of it on the conditional loan approval and appraisal report. And the appraisal report is very important. So I hope you guys took value out of that last week. And this week, what we're doing is this called the Module 2. But before I move on to Module 2, I want to explain this. This has not gone into effect, but by the time you're viewing this on the video, it's on the website, it would have been. Any new loan officer that have not complete the Module 1 and 2, they will be required to do mentorship. Because at this point, if you look at 1 and 2, it's very basic consultation stuff and reviewing income and asset. If you don't know how to do that, you need somebody that does to hold your hand and walk you through it. Okay, so it'd be required. We're just looking for you to demonstrate that you do know the fundamental. We're going to do a simple 3 to 5 open-ended quiz. It's just write in your own word what it means to you, and it's simple. You demonstrate that you know it, fine, no big deal. If you did finish 1 and 2, but you did not finish 3 and 4, then you're required for the TC service. Because TC service, the transaction coordinating service, will help you package, collect, do everything, get the disclosure out. Because on a normal loan officer and processor relationship, the processor does not touch your file until you submit a full signed disclosure with a 1003. So the TC is there to help you if you have not finished 3 and 4 and you don't know how to do that. And on the other hand, TC was never designed for that. TC was designed to help a top producing loan officer go over that low plateau that they've been stuck at, closing 5, 7 loans. They couldn't get more than that per month. When you do the TC, it would double that production. So that was the whole idea behind the transaction coordinating service, because it is an assistant that you pay a salary to, and that's what it helps. But we found that right now, because we don't have as many certified mentors in each branch, that we're limited. We're kind of utilizing that TC in lieu of. Okay, but once we have the full mentor, they should be mentoring you through all 4. Okay. So now this week, and then the 5 and 6 is just your normal. If you don't finish it, it's fine. I think you guys will work with the processor, because processor steps in and play a vital role in your 5th and 6th training module. Okay, and that goes on too, is that if you've even though taken these courses and you want the mentorship, talk to your branch manager. They will need to get hold with corporate and make sure that they have a certified mentor within their branch. If not, it'll be over to corporate. TC service open to anybody. It doesn't matter what level it is, but the only thing is that we do not utilize the TC if you haven't finished 1 and 2. You need to do the mentorship. TC doesn't have the time to do 1 and 2 with you. Okay. So now we're going to talk about, you've already closed the loan, you took it from origination, you went through processing, and you proved, and you closed the loan, you got paid on this. What do you do? What do you do after that? We're going to go through post-closing and client relationship management, because if you maintain your database well, you don't ever have to market ever again. They will just call you. And I'm not trying. If you have a long career and you had a long enough a big book of business, they will call you. Okay, and it's all automated. It's through system that you got to pay to maintain. These is taking it another step. So I'm going to show you a few things. Is that everybody knows the power of a handwritten thank you card. I believe everybody should. Actually, hold on here. I didn't record it. Yeah. Oh, you got it. Okay. All right. Okay. So what I do here, I'm always one for improvement. Whatever you guys have, you guys suggest, please come to our Thursday mastermind meeting. That's an open discussion, brainstorming session. It's from 3:30 to 5. All the owners, LOs, everybody comes in here, and we just powwow and say, hey, I think we should try this. This has worked for others. Why don't we do this, or why don't we take this thing out? So this is what have worked for us. It doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. So if you guys have something else, please let us know. Thank you cards there is a service that I personally like. I don't benefit from promoting any of these guys. I don't get any referral fees or anything. So full disclosure, there's nothing. It's just a system that works for me. Okay. So what we like to use is called Send Out Card, and I'm pull this up for those here. Where am I here? Okay, so on the Send Out cards, what they do here for Send Out cards, let me make it a little bit wider, is the reason why I like this is that, let's say you go to a networking meeting. I'm going to start out more of lead generation, and I'll kind of end it with how you do it with your client. But whenever you go to networking, you guys should all be doing networking, by the way. For loan officer, there's a lot of local business networking group. You can go to some free one where there's no membership. A good one, I think there's Successful Thinkers. They're like nationwide. There's no fee or anything. But they're kind of open, and there's more than one loan officer and all that. But eventually, you guys want to work it towards where you do go to a close-end networking. And what that means is there's only one person per profession. Only one real estate agent, one mortgage professional, one appraiser, whatever it is. So then whoever needs that type of business will refer to you. Eventually you want to go to something like that. And the one that I prefer is called Business Network International, BNI. And you should have that. You can go to their chapter twice before they require you to sign up. And that's twice per chapter. There's a bunch of chapters. There's actually like 5 chapters in Oak Grove and a few in Sacramento. So check it out. Go out there, be part of the networking. Referral partner is how you're going to get your continuous business. And they are part of your client relationship management also, not just your client, because your referral partner are your clients. You get a lot more business and more consistent business from your referral partner than your client referral themselves. Okay? So how I use this is when I go to a BNI meeting or a networking meeting or a chamber of commerce event, whatever it is, I would then have it a group of business card, and you just put into the database, and in there you said it was great meeting you on, and then you just kind of put yesterday's date, the night before, at this event. I hope that we can do business soon, and you can put a personal picture of your logo, yourself, whatever it is, even a photo that you took at the event. And it'll send out a postcard, and it's very personalized, and it's a very, very inexpensive. So for the cost of postage, I think I don't quote me at 49 cents, something like that. It's less than 50 cents currently postage, and the postcard itself is like $1.50. So for $2 a person, you sent it out personalized. And I think if you went to a store and you bought a postcard, I think even at best at 99-cent store, it's 99 cents, right? And then this one's personalized for like $1.49. So this is why you can make it seem like you're a big company and you can do something on this scale, but it's not. So this is something I recommend where instead of doing a bulk, and you can always do that, and you should always have your generic stack of thank you cards that you can handwrite and mail it out to people that you meet and so forth. And that does work, guys. And all you got to do is the good old Brian Buffini, for those who are in real estate and mortgage, is that oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for any of your referrals type of message. And you always want to insert that in those cards just to make sure that you do. And the fortune's in the follow-up, correct? People say the fortune's in the follow-up. After you send this out, you wait 2 days to maybe 3 days max, and you pick up the phone. Hey, by the way, did you get the card? They kind of praise you, give you a little thank you, and then schedule an appointment, meet up with them. So that's how I do it for the referral partner. It takes it one step further than the other. A lot of people do have this idea. And again, I'm not here to say I'm the genius that came up with this. I don't. It's just that I'm the genius that follows and actually followed through with doing it. So do the action. Everybody talks about it, but if you can get yourself in the habit of doing it, and just try it once. Start with 1, then build it up to 10 and 15 people after the meeting. But do 1, and then that 1 can give you business. So how do we do this for a client? Well, the same thing. The people that would give you a referral, that are your clients, you would send them out the same thing. Hey, thank you for the referral. I'll make sure to take good care of your neighbor, and you can do that. And that's very low budget. You can't give out referral fee, but you can kind of give them something, $20 or less, maybe attach a $5 Starbucks card or something in there, and Send Out Card can do that too. They can attach a gift, and it's for $5 you can attach like a brownie. It's pretty good too, and it's like a big old brownie come in there with the card on there, and then you say thank you. So we usually do that brownie, and they do that a lot too, and then they have other gift basket and so forth. Okay, so take a look at them. On the Send Out Card, that's what I prefer for the ubiquitous thank you cards that people do. But at the same time, I do want to mention that you guys should also have a stack of thank you cards that are generic, that has your logo, and I think you can get about 100 of them with your logo or your picture and all that for fairly expensive. Buy in bulk, and then just have it ready. When somebody gives you something, just go ahead and write the thank you card. So that leads us to email drip campaign. We have, for those that don't want to do the good old, postal mailing, because I still appreciate those things that comes in the mail versus an email where, it is thoughtful. Don't get me wrong on the email, and it works. It keeps you in front of your client's face. But there's something personable about that. And by the way, this thing has the option for you to actually handwrite your own signature for every letter. And then it'll look like you wrote that the thing. So it looks more personable, not a type font like it looks like a handwritten one. It's your own calligraphy. Okay. Email drip campaign. Let me show you what that looks like. Everything I'm showing you in this is something that we use, and I highly recommend. I've looked for a lot of CRM, client relationship management system. The best one that I've seen is powered by Salesforce. You guys ever heard of Salesforce.com? One of the biggest CRM company out there. Well, a company called Mortgage Planner CRM, or MPC for short, packaged and made it strictly for mortgage. So all their campaigns are made and it's tailored toward mortgage. And this is what the first one looks like. So I've in the packet, you should have an instruction after the sample here. So right about the 5th page or so, you'll see instruction that says transaction coordinator, and I'll pull it up on the screen here. So on here, this is what you have. We use MPC, and you kind of see logo here, but we have a full manual that will walk you through everything that we do. Everything I do, I'm sharing with you guys the full system to make you guys successful too. We have step-by-step. We continue to build upon this. If you want to adopt the system, but we have the full manual. I'm going to show you here is that, let me open this. I know you guys can see that. So on here, it's the Salesforce, and it's very simple to just add them on to campaign the Mortgage Planner CRM, and that's where I'm picking up. On that email drip campaign, I want to show you guys what it kind of looks like. This one, I just kind of sent it to a test borrower, but it would say whatever your name is that you want to use. I have a team, so what I do, I probably shouldn't tell you my trick here, but you guys probably know when I'm replying to your email or not. My email address is Kevin@MyEquityZone, and if you notice this here is at KPN, which is my initial, and that goes to my team. So if you ever reply to a KPN@MyEquityZone, people don't know it, but it's done by design, is that somebody else would check this email. So a lot of these email campaigns, I don't check it myself, and a lot of my client, that this is strictly marketing, they would reply to it, say, hey, this is usually how the email would go. Hey, I heard rate is low. Do you think I can refinance? Because I don't check all this stuff here, my team would just pull together loan option, put together IFW, and send it back to the client. But that is by design, so I can truly get email that was meant for me, that are sent for other purposes. So if you guys want to too, within your email, and it's very cheap, guys, for these email domains, for those who are still currently using Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, all that. My personal take, and I think a lot of others will agree, is not professional to have one of those if you're a professional. It's very cheap. It's like $8 a year to have your own email address at whatever. And another thing that I recommend you guys doing is is that when you set it up, have email distribution lists. So if, let's say for example, if you do hire on one of your assistant, and it can be the TC, or it can be whoever you guys work with closely, you can create one, and whenever, for example, my KPN, it will disseminate that same email to whoever you include in it. Very inexpensive, okay? So you guys should probably if you want to up your scale of your professionalism a little bit, my take is when somebody do use one of those Gmail for a professional business card, email, or Yahoo, and all those, is one, they're not tech savvy enough, or two, they just don't know how to get one, right? So it's one. I think it's one of those two. But other people aren't as forgiving as me. They probably think that you can't afford one on the other one, or you're not professional enough to do one of those. And when you're selling hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million worth of homes and loans, and you're dealing with six figures, people say you can't spare a 20-something bucks to do something like that. That's my personal take, and I hear that quite a bit too. You read any business article, they would agree. Okay, so go out there, go GoDaddy, spend $8, get your own domain. And another thing that I recommend is don't do joeschmo.com. It looks very small. It's kind of like your own entity. If you can just kind of come up with for example, we have ERS. If your branch, you guys have a branch, get a branch and use your branch thing. ERS Roseville, ERS Rockland, ERS Sacramento, whatever it is, do that. But please, by all means, stop using those Gmail, Hotmail. Use it for personal. I still have my Hotmail, I have my Gmail, I have all that. But for business, create one of those, a professional one. Okay, so if you're part of ERS and you're sitting here today and you're already signed up, you should have a ERS account. Okay, right. So for those here, I know you guys heard those. We're going to resume, and we're going to kind of show you the marketing campaign here. I'm going to kind of I gave you a kind of snippet here on your handout. There is the refinance, and there's a series, and I just want to let you know that it's all designed to give them tips along the way. For those that have this, I typically add it to people who call me with any type of inquiry regarding refinance or home. So if I met you and you just mentioned something about it, typically my conversation is this: can I get or what's your number? And I call them right on the spot. They have my number. I save them. I said, what's your email address? And that's it. I go home. It actually synchronizes through the campaign. And all I do is I select the marketing type that I want. Typically, there's 3 marketing campaigns that they have built in for you guys. One is targeted refinance, one is targeted for purchase, and the other one is for referral partners. And usually that referral partners are real estate agent, and it's meant to build trust and gain business from them. So this one is the first tip, and it actually drips for over a 2-year period. So they're going to get email for 2 years, once a week. There are ways that they can unsubscribe, but it's very simple. It's very short. Just got a bunch of things. It has your logo, and then this is for home buyer here. And there's a series of those tips. I didn't print all of them. Just want to kind of give you a taste of what it looks like. Okay, and this is actually part of MPC, and MPC is very extensive. It's the best client relationship management system that I know that is customizable. I don't have to call the tech support people and ask them, hey, when do you plan on rolling this out? If I know how to do algebra equation, and I say, if this happened, then do this, or the and or function, I can pretty much tell it and write a formula for it to do that. It's very simple. It's the best system that I've used. Calyx Point does have this built in, and for those that don't want to pay, and it's a little pricey, it's about $100 per month. But they do make you pay the $1,200 up front for you to set up. So it's an annual subscription for the client relationship management software. The way I look at it is that there are costs of doing business. The one thing that that we all need is Calyx Point, and I do pronounce it Calyx, but it's Calyx Point. That's absolutely a necessity. Just like when you own a business, you got to have a business license. The way I look at it is there's certain things that you just got to operate on, and that's the business costs. To me, this is a necessity when I'm managing my database. Right now is between 6,000 to 8,000 people that I trickle every day. every week. It's in my database. We send it out. So you'll see newsletter that comes out, and this is how I maintain without doing mass marketing and all that, is through this system here. And it's through clients, through referral, through people I meet, and it just continuously drip, okay? And it works. But I do want you guys to not call it quit before you give it time to work. And people do. They just said after a month, I'm done. My rule of thumb is that I give everything between 6 months to 18 months. So usually about the 9 month mark, if it's not working for me, I kind of give another few more months to kind of see if it works out, and usually it does. This thing here, in my experience, is when you drip somebody in and you meet a prospect, if they actually solicit for you towards you, meaning they were interested, they call you and they said, hey, I'm looking for a loan. It takes about 3 months once you put them in here for them to convert and say, hey, let's revisit what I initially talked to you about. If it's somebody you meet in the street, they were not expecting anything from you at all, it usually takes about 2 years, 2 to 3 years before they said, hey, I've been getting your stuff and do that. I got one guy that just called me after 5 years. He was one of my business neighbors. He had an office down the hall from us in this business center. And he said, I've been getting your thing for 5 years. I'm ready to buy a house. And it's $700,000 loan amount in the Bay Area. And it works. So these are the things that you don't have to work so hard. And that's why it's called drip. You slowly kind of just drip them. And it just does it for you, okay? So on here, this is just one of the function that you guys should consider. Constant Contact is a good one too. They have a free version. If you guys want to start off there.
I just want to make sure you're recording.
Oh, I'm not. Let me hit this. Actually, I am. So okay. All right. Constant Contact. There's a lot of free ones, guys, that. Depending on your database, you can send out 500 a day, for free, 100, all that. But once you kind of start exceeding that 500 to 1,000, you got to actually start paying. I haven't found one that's free, but I know Constant Contact, I think they give you like a free one for a limited amount, like 25, 100, or something like that. So play around with it. And my motto is that if there's a service for free, I'm going to use that versus paying for it. So a lot of these webinar things that I'm going to share with you guys too is that go to a website called Join.me. I think I've shared it before, but for those who missed it before, Join.me is a good way for those that are in a different city and you can't do the collaboration. Hey, can you take a look at the sheet? Here's the fees, here's the breakdown, and you're trying to visually or verbally guide them up and down that sheet on the fees and all that. If you just have them have a computer, and most people do have an internet connection and a computer, they can use that software. And that's free. And I know that, I think I do want to say SurveyMonkey or something like that, one of those survey things where you can do those. So my point is, if there's a free version, use it. And I'll give you a list too of all the cheat sheet that we do too. Don't just come out the gate and sign up on everything. Make sure you have the production to support it. So let me go back to our training here. I wanted also to show you guys a little bit more, a little better than what I can explain to you, the power of a CRM. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a video. I hope the audio. I know last time I should have brought a loudspeaker. Do you still have that speaker, Jacob? That portable speaker? Okay, do you mind if I use it? I'm going to try mine. Mine's pretty loud, but I'm going to see if it works or not. And the CRM, I encourage all of you guys, no matter how small or how big a database you guys have, you guys should definitely consider doing a CRM. Okay. This is a new one that is a little bit more manageable, as in price range. They don't charge you anything until you close the deal. Okay. And then before I show you the video, I think it's right. So the CRM, one thing I do want to show you is if you guys, with the handout, there's what is called a concierge service. And it is, Ashley, it is on the second, behind the second page of your handout. On the second page, there is a concierge service. I'll pull up on the screen for those there. And what this does is we try to keep it as into one system as few systems as possible. In here, when we set them up through the email campaign service, it's very simple to send out the thank you card. I prefer this service here because I just use one system. when a deal closes, my assistant would go in and change the campaign from either the refinance, drip campaign, or the purchase and all that to the concierge. And what it does is it orders a package, and it gives them that thank you card. So instead of me using a send out card, it's already in there. I do the thank you card, and they send out 8 times a day, or 8 times a year for 3 years. So for 3 years, my client would not only get my email, they'll also get something in the mail. And I do get calls, hey, thanks for remember my birthday, thanks for the birthday wish, the Merry Christmas, so those things. And it's all automated, guys, is that if you can set it and forget it, I'm showing you how to do that, is that you don't need to remember, and 3 weeks before the holiday, get your friends together, do gifts, and send out a bunch of stuff. It's all done for you, okay? And they also do a loan anniversary card, birthday card. They can get like a Starbucks card if they want. But all this is that kind of, the hands on the tangible type of relationship. They can touch and feel it. And this is what it does. So this is the WOW package. And I'm going to show you where it's a similar thing, but it's a little bit different. And I haven't signed up for myself, but I thought it was so good that I wanted to show you guys. And this is a courtesy of our ERS Elevate over in Roseville. Pete and Sammy, they were introduced to this, and I want to show it to you guys. So Surefire I think it's a great start, and they don't charge that much. From what I understand, it's only $50 if the loan closes. So you can put all this stuff in here. And again, I don't know the pricing, but it was brought up to me, and I think it's a great starter. It's a little bit cost friendly. I think it's per month type of thing instead of the one setup. Again, I don't know. I don't know the pricing stuff. It's a good alternative from the Mortgage Planner CRM. Mortgage Planner CRM is just more customizable, and that's what I look for, is that I can tweak with it. Whereas this one, not so much. I think they just have their own thing, and you just kind of follow their system. It's a great start, but personally for myself, I prefer the MPC. Okay, so go ahead and just kind of, I guess, test it out. I'm sure they have a demo for both of these here, but the whole purpose of this was that I encourage you guys to have a CRM, and one of the thing that I built into my CRM was a refi opportunity alert. I mean, it plays off this alert here, but let me show you what this. I think you just recently signed up for Loan Shifter, right, Nova? Did you sign up for Loan Shifter yet? Or are you considering, correct?
I am doing it.
You are doing it. Okay, the Loan Shifter. I'm going to show you guys what Loan Shifter is. You guys already know that. We showed you guys in the previous one is how do you get pricing from Loan Shifter. I'm going to show you guys the other marketing component about it. And let's see here. So under, I've been getting a lot of requests for marketing pieces for open house. In Loan Shifter itself, they built one already for you guys, and I'll just show you guys. I don't know which one here. So in here, the benefit, and it's not the best looking one. I got to admit, it's not the best looking open house flyer, but it does. The one thing I do like is that it has accurate pricing. And the pricing is that once you need to do this, if you set it up a week ago and you're doing that open house every week, you can go in there, update the pricing, and it'll give you today's pricing instead of a week pricing ago if the pricing has changed. And you don't have to run the numbers or do anything like that. If we look at Lycera, it'll look something like this. It's missing this, but it's actually, because I imported this from my account into our corporate account here. But what you're looking at is the flyer. I'll zoom in a little bit. It's supposed to have your real estate agent picture and photo and everything here for co-branding for open house, because you're sitting at their open house. You want to make sure you're partnering up with them. What it does on this is there's a little description. You put your amenities, and it has different loan programs. So whatever program you want, typically, you keep 4 is more than enough. And in here, it'll tell you all the loan numbers, APR, everything that's required to be disclosed on Open House Flyer. So when you're doing this here, they have the disclaimer, and you can pull this in, and it's templated. So if you do have LoanShifter and you sign up, you can use this here to expand your referral partner or your relationship with your referral partners. And because people have been asking me about this all the time, I just said, hey, sign up for LoanShifter, do this. This is something that will be until we actually build it with the marketing department. Marketing is kind of the next component that we're working on the next about 3 weeks or so. So we will have something where it will be, you guys can print out and then just simply put your business card and staple it in there. And then you can just hand it out, kind of the generic one. But if you want it more personalized and have everything else, there might be a small fee that you pay the graphic designer to alter it for you. There is what is called a refi alert on here. When you add somebody to this here, you can. I just put some sample here. Is that the current rate is, let's say, 4.5%. I put that in there. And then today, the rate's 3.875. What it would do is that it would email me and say, hey, give this person, Brian Anderson, a call. There's an opportunity to refinance them. Okay, so this here is all automated for you not to have to continually remember or look through your database. Who should I call? Rate just dropped. This will tell you, if you set the settings on here, is on the individual trigger. There is a master one, but I'm going to pull this up here. And I want to say that it's going to change, and of course it's going to change for the better, not the worse, by just an 1/8%. Or, this guy's not going to refi unless it changed 1%. Okay, whatever it is that you want for that individual, you can set it, and then it will email you when that when that opportunity occurs. And of course, the other one is the date. They said, hey, you know what, check back with me in 2 months. Let's see what the rate is at that time. And you can do that too. Put 60 days, it'll send you an email, say, hey, remember Brian? He said, call back in 2 months. So these are all systems that are part of the thing that you use for your everyday anyways, so you might as well put it in here. And it's very simple. I don't go deep in the how-to because each of these service providers have videos, training videos that you can watch, and they'll tell you how to do all this stuff. I just want to show you what it can do and what automated system you can be using. Okay, and there's also another. Let me pull up here. And on here, I'm going to show you, I'm just going to go my test borrower. And under my test bar, what we created in here, and by the way, this is the MPC Mortgage Planner CRM. It's fully customizable, but this is what we do. If you guys want to, you can always, just like the LoanShifter, all of them, they come with a generic template. You can either build it yourself, or you can be a sub-account of what I've already spent years building. Okay, so that's the beauty, is that you can inherit all the work that we've done, but that doesn't mean you're trapped to it. You can tweak it beyond what I've already done, so you can do whatever you guys want to. On here is, this will manage the whole process. So from the time that the file opened, and this is how simple this is, guys, depending upon what type of borrower they are, I can click this button here and I'll show it to you. So I can say, okay, I have a retiree and he's a property owner. I click this button, I'm going to hit save, and what it does is that it sends out my borrower a little intro email, and it said, hey, Mr. Borrower, thanks for contacting our office. Here's the items I need. Please fill out this packet. And that's how I send out my intro packet to a new client. So all this system is already in place. It can be as simple as that. You put in their name, their email address, click a button what type of borrowers, and you sent them all this stuff here. So I've had these attachment here. Here's the credit card, pull credit. Here's my approval process. This is what you need to get started, do's and don'ts, and do you want impound or not. So these are systems that if you can just put in and you just say, I got somebody on the street, and you can do it on your phone. You can actually meet somebody, put their name in, said, okay, here's the checklist. And it's very specific. This is for annuity, pension, Social Security. It's not a generic one. It's for somebody who's retired and they own a house. So these are the documentation I need from that person. Okay? So the power of the CRM is that it can simplify your life. And I'm going to pull, let's see here. And this is what I built. They give you a very generic one, and they don't have all this stuff here. So on here, as you can tell, we add to it. We just keep, sometime we have a mixture, and we just copy and we build all the templates for you guys. All right? Then as it goes through these things here, you see these checkboxes here? As I check these things, it will send out emails. Anything that has a checkbox, once I get disclosure out, I send it to the borrower, it sends them notification. Once I receive it, I say thank you, it's received, appraisal's been ordered, and it's sent not only to our borrower, it's sent it to the real estate agent, the escrow officer, the listing agent, anybody that we assign it to. So it informs everybody. So not only does it manage the relationship with your client, which it's designed to do, it can manage the relationship with all the transaction partners that you put into this field here. And then as you put these in here, it triggers and it sends information out to everybody as you want. And just know, if you have like a one-time update, you can just type it in here, whatever you want, and hit this button, and they'll email it to everybody in the transaction. Okay, so it's a very powerful system. And that's why I prefer this, because we customize everything here. It's just whatever is best for our client. And as you go down here, what I wanted to show you is the opportunity that when you do have somebody, let's see here, and we do send out a pre-approval letter out here too. One other thing is, where is it? Under here, there is a way that we can generate a, and you should have the instruction. If you look on the second, third to the last page, on the back of the third to the last page, this is the step, the required. I'm going to pull it up for you guys at home. Sorry about that. Let me see here. So what we've done is that by using Calyx Point, is that you can send out an opportunity by mining your database. And let me open this here. This instruction was, if you guys are slow and you guys need to market and get some new business, the best way to do it is go through your old closed files and see if there's any opportunity. And while you're doing that and you're setting up the loan shifter to make sure that it alerts you of new opportunities, you don't have to wait. You can actually do a test. And if you follow this step here, what it does is that it says that we don't, people need a reason to refinance. And the simplest way to do that is, how much am I going to save? $1 amount, right? I like to, we don't just say, you would fight over why would we do it if I only save less than $100. That's usually the conversation. But if you go through these these steps and you fill it in, and if you look on this page here, which on the screen, you'll see this in our MPC, which is the Mortgage Planner CRM, is this screen here. You fill in that information, and what it do is it will generate a letter that you'll see on the following page. And what that page does is it will send out to your client, and it'll say, hey, hope you and your family are doing well. And you can customize this, but you get the idea. Is that, as you may have seen, the news, in the news, rates have hit an all-time low recently, and it makes sense to refinance your loan. Based on today's rate, I can drop your current rate of 3.875 by 3.375 with no closing costs. This would save you $655 per year. I mean, you divide that, that's like 50 some bucks, right? Most people will hesitate and say, why save 50 some bucks a month? It's a lot of hassle. And you say, well, and over $20,000 or over $20,000 over the life of the loan. And it will pay off your loan 25 months faster, meaning that you can save 25 months worth of principal and interest payment. So that's what this is designed to do, is for you to mine your database and make sure that if there's any opportunity, even if it's little by 1/8 or 1/4%, sometimes it's worth it when it's a high dollar amount. Okay. So this is the system that you would use to do that. Like I said, the Surefire will get you going, but the customizability on these MPC is a lot more flexible. And then, let me see here. There is one other one, since we have, well, before I continue on this here, I wanted to kind of talk to you about the CRM, and I encourage you guys, and again, this is beyond the basic for somebody who's seasoned, who's done that loan, and they said, hey, I want to take it a step further, and I want to increase my volume. I want to double it up. Part of that is through, and we'll cover it later on as Hydrant Assistance, but the client relationship will do that, and it's just through marketing and campaigning, and it's slow dripping. But if you need deals now, you can always buy leads, and you can always do ads and certain things like that. And that's not our point. Our thing is longevity, and I want to show you guys a system that will consistently just drip and work your sphere of influence. Okay, and mining your database, you get a lot of these, and I'll show you how easy this is that I think even within the real estate side, what they'll do is they'll tell you 100 named sphere of influence. And you can just Google this here, and you'll get something like this. Let me see here. What is it? Where's my advanced search? Oops. Okay, it didn't work quite as easy as I thought it was going to be. But anyways, it's... anyways, I'll forward it to you. I know I did it last time and it came up. But what it does is just say, hey, name these people that you know in this industry. And I actually have it. I just didn't have it on the form here. And it'll say, hey, people that you know that might be in a real estate, in appraisal, in all those type of things. And then you just write down those names. And if I had my server, I'll pull it up. But those are kind of like you're mining your database, and that's kind of like beginner if you're kind of in the business and you do that. And I would start with that exercise if you don't already have a database, and then enter it into your CRM. Okay. Do you guys have any question on those? On the CRM, on the refi opportunity, on any of this information? Now, if you guys are still on the webinar, you guys have any questions, let me know. And hopefully, guys, you can still hear me okay. 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 You guys don't have any question. Next week, if you guys want to, I'll give you a sneak preview of what the Mortgage Coach Edge look like. It is a presentation tool that once you guys see it, it's a very powerful tool for refinance and getting referral partner or business from real estate agent on the seller buy down. Okay, the Mortgage Coach Edge, that one, if you guys, if there are people that's on the fence and rates has dropped, I don't know if you guys know, but about 1/4% within the last week from last Wednesday. It's a good time for those people who sit on the fence and then just kind of look at it. And if you have people that are buying, it's a good time. We locked some people in yesterday and today, and it is improving slightly. But I say right now is a good time to just lock. And if you guys can't wait till we get to kind of next session, because rate is good. Historically, in my experience, every Tuesday morning between 9 and 11 a.m. is the best time to lock in your rate. And my logic was that? The rate today is on the 30-year is advertised 4.25, and the 15-year is 3.25. Last week was 4.5 and 3.5. Okay. The reason why on Tuesday is over the weekend, not all investors come back to work on Monday, but on Tuesday morning, for whatever reason that morning, it rallies, and then I've always tend to lock on a Tuesday between 9 and 11 a.m. Okay.
So now 4.25.
4.25 on the 30-year fixed. That's a safe rate for you to quote. That's what everybody's quoting, but we would probably beat it. What's that?
Yeah,
4.25%. Yes, and then 3.25% on a 15-year is what the going average. You look it up. That's what everybody's going to quote, and we're going to do. We can do the same thing too. Okay, but those are whatever you see anybody advertise that, this is the norm. It's about a 720 FICO score, 80% loan to value, single family resident, owner occupied, full documentation. Those are the generic what you're advertising. So rates can get better if they're only at a 40% loan to value. Rates can get better if they have maybe 800 FICO score. So anything that improve, it actually drives it down, or they have a different term. Okay. So you guys have any other question? And I would encourage for those that are actually I went with the open house. We actually covered the open house flyer. We'll go in more detail next week. But next week is more about the seller buy down, the rate watch, the total cost analysis, and it's a little bit more marketing and sales presentation. Okay. Any question? What's that?
I think there's one on your thing.
Oh, there is a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you assist me with my MLO license tomorrow? Just one document they were asking before it clears. Sure. Okay, Ed, yeah, I got that message. Hopefully you can hear me. Just give me a call, 916-469-3624, and then I'll help you out tomorrow. Okay. All right, well, thanks for coming, guys.